Peekaboo. Here we go. Football season. Pauly and Teddy Sports Spit. Monday, August 7th. Yesterday was the last Sunday without football until February. So we made it. Deep dive today, how to beat NFL preseason. 101 today, part one, and then part two coming up on Tuesday. Big game breakdown. Orioles and the Angels and the Cardinals and the Royals. Back from Costa Rica, under the weather. He's a warrior. How you doing, Teddy? How'd it go?
I'm doing great. Hey, it was a heck of a conference, dude. It really was. Obviously the presenters were really good. When I'm the weakest presentation, I'm not, trying to be like, oh, I'm the greatest. But every single presenter was as good or better than me. Matt Holt, Ed Feng, Gabe Morency, Clay Travis. Shit, Johnny Manziel was really good. Mark Lawrence, Gil Alexander. But what's the goal of any conference, Good mix of people. We had industry guys from Vegas. We had industry guys from offshore. We had attendees from all over the U.S. and Canada and the U.K. What else? You want good info. And every panel was rock solid, really good. Good networking. People were talking. People got along. There were tons of great connections that got made. People forging alliances. People saying, hey, let's share some information. And of course, good times in San Jose. Drinking. There was a casino right next door, a poker tournament, the San Jose nightlife, and of course, UFC Saturday night. Everyone went out and watched the fight. So overall, I thought it was an A+ for the first IFBC conference ever. I imagine we're going to have another one next year.
What was Manziel doing there? Just hanging out?
Yeah, he got, he came down as I can't tell you exactly what his status was when he came down.
Okay.
All I know is that he attended the conference. He was cool. He was mature. He was not the young hothead that he was when he was 19 years old. I was really impressed with Johnny Manziel. Genuinely impressed. Although he's saying he wants to get back to the NFL. I'll take the under on his actual ability to get back to the NFL.
All right, fair enough. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. A lot of bad beats, a lot of bullpen meltdowns yesterday. Let's start with the Blue Jays. Osuna blew his seventh save. They were even money. They led 6-3 in the ninth, and the Astros get 4 to win it.
Oh, yeah. The 2-run triple by Alex Bregman with 2 outs. Bregman scores a winning run on a Juan Centeno single. That's a tough beat for Toronto. When you're leading by 3 in the ninth, you're supposed to cash those tickets.
And this one, the Angels were $1.30. They led 10-6 in the eighth, and they got beat.
Yeah, 10-5 in the seventh, 10-6 into the eighth. Blake Parker did not have it for LA in the eighth, and Mike Scioscia went to the closer. Bud Norris tried to get the 4-out save. Guess what? Norris didn't have it either. Bad beat if you had LA.
And this is tough. You can't lose games like this in August when you're fighting for a playoff spot. And Holland had been 34-35 in closing games and save opportunities against the woeful Phillies. 2-1 in the ninth. Phillies get 2. They beat the Rockies, who were $1.15.
Yeah, Rockies is short chalk with the blown save. Let's see how Colorado reacts to the pressure of a pennant race, a team that hasn't been in a pennant race in quite a few years.
All right, bad bet. Explain this one. Absolute lunacy. Money came in on the Reds and Homer Bailey. It looked good for an inning when they led 3-0. Bailey got lit up, gave up 10 runs. His ERA is now almost 9 this year, and he's a lot of money still left on that contract.
Yeah, I mean, the bettors were fading Wainwright, and Wainwright wasn't good. What do you have, 5 walks? He got pulled after 3, but Homer Bailey was worse, I should say. And of course, the money, it wasn't just a trickle against Cincinnati. I mean, there was a trickle on Cincinnati and against St. Louis. There was a deluge of money coming in on the Reds. They opened, as you mentioned, plus 113, and they closed minus 120. Bailey now what? 8.86 ERA. What's he? 5-10 with a 7.82 ERA over the last 3 seasons. Those are not pretty numbers for a guy who's still got many millions left on a contract that runs through 2019.
Look at this. Ubaldo took money for the second straight start. 25-cent move on the Orioles, went up $1.55, and they won again. And Ubaldo won again.
Yeah, and this may not have been pro-Ubaldo money as much as it was anti-Anibal Sanchez money. The Orioles led 4-0 after 5 batters in the bottom of the first. Shoop, Davis, Mancini, consecutive home runs. And when you look at this graphic, Anibal Sanchez ERA. Yeah, that's what we would call a steady decline. Worse every year by at least a run or close to a run right here into 2017. This was an ace-level pitcher back in 2013. He's a long, long way from that right now.
All right, and one more. Oh, actually, 2 more, but this one's quick. The Texas-Minnesota total bet up from 9.5 to 10.5. It was 5-5 in the third, and it's bad for the books every single night because all they do is win. The Dodgers sweep the Mets. They're 44 on a 44-7 run. ESPN Stats and Info tweet. They're the first team. This is going into Sunday. First team to win 43 games in a 50-game span since 1912. 18-3 since the break. They've won 24 of 27. They're 70-21 since April 25th. I can't believe it. Oh, one more thing. The last time they lost to a team other than the Atlanta Braves, July 2nd. This is asinine what they're doing.
It's insane. It is truly the most epic run that I can ever recall in MLB. I mean, the Rockies coming out of nowhere, what they win, 21 out of 22 to reach the World Series against the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Prior to that, that was probably the most incredible run I've ever seen in MLB. This is a once-in-a-lifetime, a once-in-a-generation type of hot streak. I applaud those of you who've made money off the Dodgers during this span. It can't continue. We keep saying that, and yet they keep winning. They haven't lost, as you said, they haven't lost to a team not named Atlanta in more than a month. That's absolutely insane. It's nothing that I've ever seen before. So when you get these streaks that are literally off the charts, you can get rich off of them if you're riding them. But if you're not, it's really hard to jump in late.
I saw this before 4 years ago when they went 42-8.
Yeah, but it didn't go on and on like this.
Oh, it did. No, you're right about that. This is I believe it's 70-21 since they called up Bellinger. Oh my God. Up next, big game breakdown: the Orioles and the Angels, and the Cardinals and the Royals, and how to beat the NFL preseason in the deep dive on SportsBit. Betting Insight today on SBRpicks.com.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.
Back on SportsBit, Betting Insight today. Time for big game breakdown. As always, sponsored and powered by BetOnline. Exceptional customer service, strong promotions, every possible type of wager players are looking for. Check out the bonus page, sportsbookreview.com, for the latest and best offers up there. Now, everyone is still in it in the American League wildcard chase, pretty much. Orioles and Angels. BetOnline number, Angels $1.22.9. The total, it's Bundy against Ramirez. Even with the Trout injury and all the other injuries, they're still alive. They're only 2.5 games back, and the key was they didn't fall off the map when Trout got hurt, Teddy. They hung in there.
Well, 35 games Mike Trout missed, and the Angels played 500 baseball without him, which was insane considering what their roster looked like when Mike Trout was hurt. But they managed, and they plugged through it. But the question you want to ask, this is a guy that missed 35 games this year. Is he potentially an MVP in the American League this year, despite that absence? Look at the numbers. Number 3 in batting average, 1 in on-base percentage, slugging, and OPS. Of all the players with 250 plate appearances or more, he has had truly an epic season, despite the fact that he missed all those games. And L.A. staying alive in this race, but boy, I don't know if they're going to continue to do it with the Schumacher injury. That is a huge loss for L.A. I don't know if they can lose another starting pitcher.
And then by the way, I don't think Trout can get it. He's only going to play in 115 games. I don't think they're going to go for that, although he's having an incredible year. Ramirez forced to become a starter because of all the injuries, and now even more important, as you mentioned, because of the Shoemaker injury. But look at this. Last 5 starts, a 1.93 ERA, career high 8 innings in the shutout win against the Phillies, and the markets are noticing what he's been doing, Teddy. This is a great turnaround for this guy. He was in the bullpen in Philly.
Well, I mean, he's been in the bullpen since 2011. So we're not talking about a guy who's just, a little bit of time in the bullpen as he's getting ready to become a big league starter. He's been a reliever for the last 7 years, and then injuries force him to the rotation. And what has he done? Man, he's throwing a nasty fastball. High heat, 96.3 miles an hour. He's got decent control, 2.9 walks per 9, and he's got a good ground ball rate, just shy of 50%. But when we talk about the elite pitchers in baseball, the guys who are really throwing hard, only Luis Severino, Carlos Martinez, and Jarrett Cole have a higher average fastball velocity than J.C. Ramirez this year. And certainly the markets have taken notice. He's been someone who they've been willing to support in recent weeks. And obviously it's been a good reason why, with a .93 ERA over those last 5 starts.
Well, I'll tell you what this is. This is a team who was expected to be sellers, and they turned out to be buyers, and then that kind of, you got a lift an emotional lift in the clubhouse, saying management believes in us when everyone thought we were out of it. And now they took off. They're 7-2 in their last 9, and they start a huge 10-game West Coast road trip here.
Yeah, I mean, this road trip right here is massive for Baltimore's season. Obviously, and I agree with your assessment there, Pauly, that when management makes a move at the trading deadline and say, we're not going to be sellers, we're still in this, it changes the atmosphere in the clubhouse immediately after. So Baltimore, a really good homestand. Now this 10-game road trip. And then, of course, they come home and play 9-12 versus these same three AL West teams. Angels, A's, and Mariners. 19 of the next 22 games for Baltimore against those 3 teams. Of course, they got to get Dylan Bundy to turn the corner. You know, he did throw 8 shutout innings last time out in the win over Kansas City, but he only had 5 strikeouts, and this is a guy whose velocity and strikeout percentage, not what they were. Look at last year. 8.5 strikeouts per 9 inning, an average fastball velocity of almost 95 miles an hour. This year, less than 7 strikeouts per 9 and an average fastball velocity that's nearly 2.5 mph less than a season ago. So the overall numbers respectable for Dylan Bundy, 10-8, 4.24, but he's not a guy who the markets are in love with. You can clearly see based on this line.
All right, game number 2, live odds, bet online, Cardinals and the Royals. Royals $1.29 the total. It's Martinez against Kennedy. Cardinals still under 500, but only 3.5 back in the NL Central. Martinez came out of the gate strong, but he's wearing down. Look at this graphic. First 14 starts, 6-5 with a 2.86. Last 8 starts, 1-4 with a 5.09 ERA. They were 9-5 over their first 14, 2-6 over their last 8. That's a Cardinals record. But only 55 and 102 pitches in the strike zone. The loss against Milwaukee in the last start, he lasted only 5 innings because of that high pitch count. Cause for concern, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Martinez's biggest problem has been the first inning. He can't get out of the first without getting into trouble. He's allowed a run in the first in each of his last 6 starts, something those of you who are betting first inning props probably want to note. Cardinals manager Mike Matheny, quote, "You're trying to get that intensity in the bullpen to match the intensity out on the mound. He's an intense pitcher, and it's hard to replicate that sometimes as you're getting prepared for the game. You also don't want to spend all your bullets down there, so it's a fine line." Of course, you know, the Cardinals bullpen, not in terrible shape today. Adam Wainwright only lasted 3 innings. He got pulled for a pinch hitter after 3, and that was a good move. They scored 5 more runs with 2 outs, but it was Brebbia and Cecil combining to eat up 5 innings from that bullpen yesterday, which leaves the rest of the pen relatively fresh for today.
Then you have Kennedy, he is what he is. He's an average pitcher, and we'll show you with the numbers. Career ERA 3.99, and you see the xFIP and the FIP. In 2017, the ERA is up to 4.60. The fielding independent pitching's almost 5, and the xFIP is over 5. There's not much zip left either. The strikeout percentage are career low, and the walk percentage is a career high. Recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and of course, you know, KC, another team that you think might have some bullpen concerns today. They played a doubleheader yesterday, but they came out of yesterday okay in the bullpen. Kennedy, he's only averaging about 5.1 innings per start. Jake Eunice throwing 8 innings in the nightcap was huge for them in that doubleheader. Otherwise, the bullpen behind Kennedy would be spent for today.
I saw the Royals 30-1. Any value there?
You know, I know a couple people that took a piece of Kansas City in recent weeks. A couple guys who I respect taking a piece of the Royals in the postseason. I do not see that team as a World Series champion. So I do not have Royals in my pocket, and I would not advise you to put it in your pocket. It's not I don't see that scenario. I don't think the starting pitching is good enough, and I don't think that lineup is going to be producing runs against elite pitching in the postseason.
Up next, the deep dive. There's a game Wednesday. There's 7 on Thursday. How to beat the NFL preseason coming up next on SportsBet. Betting Insight today on SBRPicks.com.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SBR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.
Wrapping up on SportsBet, Betting Insight today. Football's here. Pauly and Teddy. You always, especially outside of Las Vegas, people think you're crazy when you tell them you bet on preseason football, but there's a lot of information out there, and it's the one time, Teddy, where coaches actually tell you the game plan and what they're going to do, and if the game matters to them.
Yeah, I mean, the whole concept, oh my God, betting on preseason NFL is so degenerate, oh, you're a degen. No, 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 no. There are advantages for the preseason. The preseason is beatable. Year in, year out, the preseason is beatable. Our goal here on SportsBet is to show you how. We've got the two-part series. This is like preseason 101, the basics. Tomorrow, we got preseason 102. We'll call them advanced methods.
All right, number one, don't confuse what's going to happen in the regular season, or what a team wants to accomplish in the regular season, with the preseason goals.
Yeah, I mean, that's so huge. That is absolutely the number one rule. I don't care that New England Patriots are the best team in the NFL, or Green Bay, or Seattle, or Pittsburgh, as the elite teams, and your Clevelands and San Franciscos and whoever, the Jets at the bottom. That doesn't matter in preseason. In preseason, it's about what the coaches want to accomplish game by game, not how good the teams are. So don't ever confuse the regular season capabilities with preseason goals.
And these games are decided, especially from a point spread perspective, after halftime, when you got the guys in there who, some of them will be bagging groceries in a month.
Sure, I mean, preseason point spread winners are going to be determined largely by player rotations after halftime. When you look at mainstream coverage of the preseason, they always talk, oh, this starter's not going to play, that starter's not going to play, they're going to get a couple of drives. They're only talking about the named players who aren't going to be on the field in the second quarter, let alone the third or the fourth. You want to make money betting the NFL in August, don't worry about the starters nearly as much as the second, third, fourth string guys. If you find a player rotation mismatch after halftime, those are point spread gold.
All right. Also, I want to bet on veteran quarterbacks who are second and third stringers, as opposed to these young guys who are just trying to get a roster spot and aren't experienced.
Sure, a veteran QB who's facing a third string defense and a defense that's not blitzing, they're worth their weight in gold. E.J. Manuel for Oakland stands out. Nick Foles and Matt McGloin for Philly stand out. Maybe Dan Orlovsky for the Rams as again, veteran QBs who can pick apart a third string defense given the opportunity. And there's so many guys around the NFL who are going to be playing in the second half of these games. And what do we call them? Never have beens, never will be's. The undrafted rookie free agents are truly the low end of the totem pole for bet on versus bet against in the second half of these games.
Okay, let's get back to what we said at the top of the segment. Some guys, some coaches want to win. Some coaches think these games are important. Others don't care. Remember Marv Levy in Buffalo? They go 0-4 every year and then go to the Super Bowl. In any event, look at Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer wants to win. He's 11-2 against the spread in his preseason career.
Yeah, no question. And one thing you want to be a little bit wary of is the fact that some of the times, especially for younger coaches, for newer coaches, that get up to this gaudy ATS record early, and that is situational or circumstantial. They had quarterback battles. They had the veteran QBs in the second half, et cetera, et cetera. That's not necessarily the case for Zimmer. Zimmer has clearly shown a propensity for wanting to win in August. You look at the other end of the spectrum, you have an Andy Reid who could care less if his team wins or loses any preseason game. And, of course, Hugh Jackson, who in his 1 year with the Raiders and 1 year with the Browns as a preseason head coach, 0-8. Has not yet covered a point spread in August, although I'm not convinced that Jackson doesn't care. I think the rotations for him have been very, very bad. Cleveland's a team I really want to watch this August. It'll be interesting to see if that Jackson trend continues moving forward.
Very good. Mike Tomlin doesn't care either. And you're seeing some early money on the Giants, that Friday night game at home as well. As just he doesn't really care, and he has a poor record as well. All right, that was part one. Part two tomorrow. Money time.
Well, there's one last thing we got to get in here, Pauly, real quick.
Oh, yeah.
And it's important. Bet facts and information, not opinions. And this probably should have been number one, because it's again, we talk about this team's good, this team's bad. No. Doesn't matter in August. Information wins August wages. Opinions are for September, not for August.
Very good. All right, money time. Play of the day. Back to the Orioles and the Angels. What are we doing, Teddy?
Yeah, game number 957. This is a Baltimore team that's rolling and an Angels team that, despite Mike Trout's excellence, they're not going to the postseason. Baltimore's a better of these two squads. We're getting a plus price off an ace-level effort from Dylan Bundy last time out. Give me the Baltimore Orioles, game number 957, plus 112. That's a current Bet online number. That's our play of the day.
All right, you're a warrior. You flew out what, Thursday morning? You got back. You got delayed. You were sick, you bastard. That was something.
Oh, man.
That was an incredible 4-day stretch for you.
I'll tell you what, I had 2 different 3 a.m. wake-up calls in a 4-day span, and the 2 days in between were just insane. So it was a rough weekend, but hey, back in Vegas. It's a Monday. It's a brand new week. Looking forward to putting a great week of shows together for you right here on SportsBit Betting Insight today. We'll see you tomorrow.